Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lessons for Life podcast. I'm Troy Hudkins with Jeremy Littel, my guest today. Jeremy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah. So uh, I just met you through my wife, kind of. So not that my wife even knows you, but come across you, and I thought it'd be great to interview you. So maybe we could start with first question I always ask everybody: Who is Jeremy Littel?
Who is Jeremy Littel? Well, I am a 42-year-old guy from the Midwest. I grew up uh, was born in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and then moved throughout Wisconsin most of my life, and then ended up here in Minnesota. Um, Pretty small town guy for the most part, and loves to be around family and friends, and the guy that likes to make people laugh.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, that's where my wife saw you. She saw some of your videos that you put out with your jokes and stuff. And she
right
turned it
on.
on to me and I got
Yeah,
interested. So,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
I watch a lot of your stuff. So, growing up as a youngster, who do you think from your family had the biggest influence on you and what kind of influence did they have?
Well, it was definitely my dad. My dad worked for a company called Home Juice, which was a juice company that delivered door to door, like kind of like a milkman. He was the juice man, and he would deliver to homes and then also to the bars and restaurants. And I would go on uh, right on his route. I started when I was 3 years old, and
Nice.
I got to know the people on the route, and it was fun getting to interact with all of these different people, and it really instilled um, salesmanship in me.
Nice.
I've always been a salesman. I mean, for every one of my jobs that I've done, I've always been some type of sales, and my dad has really helped shape that in me, and all through growing up. I used to work. I don't know if you're familiar with Menards, which is like a Home Depot, Lowe's.
Yeah.
I worked there in building materials and worked as in sales there for many years, and then I worked as a loan officer in sales, and to where we are now with our own company, which is marketing and sales as well.
Right? Yeah. Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what you do, you have to sell it,
Right. Yeah.
right?
It
Like
can be anything. Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
And what I've learned is it doesn't matter what you're selling. You're basically selling yourself. And if you have the gift to gab, which I do, I can talk to people. Like I was saying, one on one, I can talk to people all day long. Um, and if people like you, they're gonna buy from you. There are thousands of jerky companies out there, and people buy from us because we have the best customer service. I'm available, and I think nowadays people want more of the. I want to be able to talk to someone. I want to be able to not have a computer on the phone. I want to be face to face, and so we try to do that as much. I try to do that as much as possible to be able to, get our feet on the ground and be able to talk to people. And I think
Nice.
that's very important still.
Yeah. Yeah. I just actually, my last interview I just did was with my cousin who was in radio, and he started out as a disc jockey and then went over to sales because that's where the money is.
Right, right.
And he related a story to me where one of his other people that were in his office used to deal with this company all the time, large contract, and would never really get much out of them. And then he got in and ended up meeting with these people, and they signed like immediately. Like it was just incredible, pretty amazing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, if you can talk and people like you, they tend to go
And
towards your
and
stuff.
and that's in relationships. So I used to have to get in people's cars and ride along with them and help them, promote products. And when I would get in their car, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm looking all around their car and trying to see things that they would like and things that they want to talk about. Like if they'll have like an emblem of the Green Bay Packers, or if they have something that shows that they like to hunt or do. I will try and bring up some common ground and be able to talk to them. And once you get people talking about themselves, they really, that wall kind of comes down, and you can really talk to people after a
Yeah.
while pretty
Yeah.
quickly. So,
But if you bring it up wrong, like if you say, "Oh, sorry about your Packers,"
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That would imply that you're not a Packer fan, and then they don't want to hear about that. Yeah,
right,
exactly. Yeah.
right. Um, so outside of your family, do you have any friends or somebody that played a big role in your life, some sort of impact that made you who you are today?
Um, I've always been pretty real close with my family. Um, I there wasn't really anyone. I mean, I guess I would say like old and employees. I mean, employers. Like when I was in high school, I worked at a bakery, and I was the. It was like the most sought after job because you're making donuts and you're baking stuff, and everybody wanted that job. And my boss there, Sherry, was awesome. Like she like really was like a older sister to us, and really helped. She kind of kept us out of trouble, because we would work every Friday and Saturday. Like every Friday, we had to be there from 6 until 2 in the morning, and then Saturday night we would be there from like 7 p.m. until 2 in the morning as well. So we weren't really going out at all on the weekends, and so we kind of got to get like our work ethics installed and instilled in us. And she was really awesome and really helped me form who I am as far as uh, discipline and being able to be part of a team.
Nice. So part of a team. Do you did you play sports growing up?
I did not. I'm not very um, athletically inclined, I guess you'd say. uh, I was the biggest supporter, though. I
Yeah.
would be at all of the sporting events. Would it be volleyball, wrestling, basketball? I was there to support all of my friends. I'm short. I'm 5'4", and I lifted weights, and I did a lot, but I did a lot of fishing and hunting and anything outdoors I'd love to do. But no, sports and me, I didn't get along too much.
Okay, so your bakery, your company there, you mentioned a team. So what have you learned in your life from being part of a team or a team environment?
Um, well, I learned that as part of a team, you all have your own roles, on things to do, and that you really everyone needs to play their part. Here at work, in my own business now, I've got myself, my vice president, my sales manager, my warehouse manager, and then my online. There's only five of us, my online guy. And each one of us plays a different part, a different role in the company. And if you take one of us away, it's not going to run smoothly. And so we each bring something to the team and are able to, I mean, run very smoothly because everybody knows what they need to do. Um, and I it helps me a lot because then I just have to be knowledgeable. I mean, I'm knowledgeable in everything, but I don't have to pay as much attention to certain aspects when other people are performing on their, I mean, on their own duties and tasks. It really helps as a team to be able to grow a lot quicker than if you were doing something on your own.
Right, right. Okay. Um, Education, how important is education, do you think, in your life?
Well, formal education, I don't think is for everybody. As far as like a college education, um, is not for everybody. In sales, um, I was actually in everything. I was talking about this. My wife is in school. She's a translator for Spanish speaking kids in the high school. and there is a job that is coming up that where she could be teaching, because we have it's called a SLIPA program, a Spanish language immersion program for everyone for the starting out with grade school kids in our city. And in order for her to get that job, she would have to go to school and get her teaching degree. Well, for me, she's got 15 years in experience of being fluent and teaching in the system, but without that degree. And in my
That's not
opinion,
the
it
same.
is about money. It's about money. In my opinion, if you have experience that is equivalent to your degree or above, I would much rather have that person on my team that has experience than anyone that's coming out of college and has never had their foot on the ground.
It's
And that's how it's terrible.
it's that paper, that
Yeah.
diploma.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah. You got to have to show that you know that you're able to go through it, and in order to get that degree. But it's hard, because I'll deal with buyers. So say a buyer at a company that we want to buy our product. Well, they'll look at our product line, and they have never been out on the road. They have never once stepped foot into a bar or a restaurant or a convenience store and know what they would want on their shelves. They would do it based off their own. Well, I don't think something like that would sell, and so I'm not going to order that.
right.
I think that everyone needs to have some type of experience in order to be able to move up in a position. And that's again what I'm saying. As far as education, I think hands-on education is a lot more important than that degree, that diploma, in my eyes. Now, I'm I'm a salesman though, you know. And for me, it's different than different. I mean, I would not want a doctor to say, okay, you've got good experience there, but you don't have your license. But yeah, you know, I think you could do a liver transplant. You'd be pretty good at it now. I mean, there's certain professions where
Right.
you gotta have, but in my line of work, it's more about experience.
Right. And that's, like I always ask it, what do you think carries more importance? School, classroom, or life lessons, right? But I think we all need some classroom training.
True. Yes.
But yeah, depending what you're going into, definitely you tend to get life experience or you get some more training, right?
Right. Right.
Definitely. What is one thing in your life that you've done that you're most proud of?
My kids. My kids are everything. Um, I have three. We've got a 9-year-old, and almost a 7-year-old on Wednesday, and a 3-year-old, and I love them to death. To be able to have and they're all healthy, and they're all smart, and they're all. I mean, it's just to be able to watch them grow and to be a part of their lives is huge. And they're getting to the point where they want to be a part of what I'm doing, and it's awesome. Yeah, I think
Cool.
I'm most proud of my kids.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, I have 6 kids and
Right
8
on.
grandkids. So
Yeah,
they're amazing. They're all amazing.
yeah.
So let's see. Friends, do you have any friends that you've been really close to over the years that, someone that you could say any given time, just call and say, hey, I need a hand, or I need you, or whatever.
Yeah, my vice president, John Lorenz, he and I met in 2008. We were working at the bank together, small bank. We were the only ones in there. And yeah, really small bank. And we did everything. We did certificates of deposit. We did consumer loans. We did mortgages. We did everything. And just me and him. And So we got to know each other very well. And I was only there for 2 years. I was there from 2008 to 2010, and then he had stayed there, and I came to work for my dad in 2010. But we became best friends. In
Nice.
2013, he came to work here for me, and yeah, at any given time, it wouldn't matter what 3 o'clock in the morning, he would, and the same for me. We're stronger than brothers. Yeah,
Nice.
it's a
Nice.
really really good bond that we have.
How important do you think it is to have good, positive relationships in your life?
Oh, it's great to have that, and you need to have someone that you can, especially in my position with a business and other things that are going on. You need to have someone that you can talk to about everything. I mean, whether it be good or bad, whether someone be like, dude, you're messing up, or that's you're doing really well, and but we should be doing something differently. What you've got to be able to have that open dialogue where you can speak freely with each other, because it'll help you both grow. And it's to be on the same mindset and to be with someone that is, you have the same type of direction and goals and wanting to grow, um, is awesome. And I don't think you'll find but like one or two people like that in your whole entire life. I
Right.
haven't. Yeah, I haven't. And but it's great to have.
Someone that you can talk to, that you can keep it real.
Yeah,
Right.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah, you can talk about anything. I mean, you could talk about hemorrhoids if you had to. I mean, it
Right.
don't matter. Anything.
I
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know why they call them hemorrhoids. They should call them asteroids.
There you go.
That's just
Yeah.
me, you know.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
said that at the pharmacy one day, and the guy behind the counter just about died.
Lots.
Yeah. Um, oh, where was I going with this? Uh, family. So you've got 3 kids, you've got a wife. What's the biggest part of family that you think is most important?
Spending time with your family. Not It's like you don't want to miss those firsts. Like, and for me, I still have a young family, and so like we were like, the first words, first walk, first talk, first um soft baseball game, learning how to swim, teaching, being there, just being there for them. We
Nice.
go on vacation, and that's stuff that I didn't really do as a kid. We never really went on. I mean, when we would go on vacation, it was far and few and in between. I only remember like two. And my kids, we go to Mexico every year, and that's another thing is where I have to teach my kids that they're not entitled to everything either.
Right.
And so it's being there to be a positive role model for my kids, and also, I don't I don't necessarily have to be their friend all the time. My job is to uh, raise my kids so they're not assholes. Uh,
Right.
so
Bottom
it's
line.
uh, I just think though that especially with today's world, um, to be as present as I can in their lives.
Nice. Awesome. Of all the things your mother and father did or taught you as you grew up, what is one thing that you would want to take to instill in your kids?
Um, I don't forget where you came from. You need to still stay humble. I grew up dirt poor. You need to stay humble and give as much as you can back to someone else, because someone gave to me, and someone allowed me to to see where I could go, what I could do, as far as my abilities. And if you are acting like you're entitled and that the world owes you something, you- you're never going to make it. You will never, you'll never be happy, because if you're always feeling like you're entitled to something, you'll be entitled to something more and more and more and more. You're always going to feel like not happy. You won't feel, I'm not saying complacent, but can't think of the word right now. Satisfied with your life. And so I guess, stay humble, stay kind, and, you know, try and give as much as you can. You know, for me, it's, with my TikTok thing, my goal is to make at least one person smile or laugh that isn't really getting that at home, or through so many things that are going on in their life. That, as long as I can give you that smile or that laugh, then my job is done on that end.
Nice. Awesome. What inspired you to do the TikTok thing?
Well, that's kind of a long story. About 4 years ago, down on a family vacation down in Mexico, I was in the pool playing catch with one of my boys. And I was noticing around the pool that anyone that was 25 and up was in the pool hanging out, having fun. Anyone that was like 25 or younger was sitting by the side of the pool, but looking at their phones. And I'm like, wow, they're on social media. I have a business and I'm not on social media at all. So I'm like, well, I need to get on Instagram. So I went home and I made a promise that I will post 3 times a day until I start to establish some notoriety of being on Instagram. I started with like 150 followers, and within 4 months, I was up to like 8,000. And I talked to a NASCAR driver that wanted me to sponsor him, a world record jet skier, a world longboard surfboard record. I mean, all these people started talking to me, and it was like, okay, I found my niche. It's like outdoorsy. I'm going to be like an outdoors type thing. And so I started sponsoring NASCAR. I started doing things with people that hunted and fished, and sent them products that help promote us. And I was growing and growing. And I think like in 2019, like June of 2019, I had somewhere around 19,000 followers. And I had also spoke with a couple of YouTubers that they fished, and they were from Minnesota. So we always do this thing in Red Wing, Minnesota every year, where we do a catfishing trip, and we'll catch probably in 4 or 5 days, we'll catch over 150 fish, and probably 6 flatheads that are over 40 to 50 inches, big flatheads. Well, I took these guys out, and then one of them posted on TikTok called Kick Ass Catfishing, where him and his buddy were called it, and it went viral. And he's like, dude, he says, you need to get on TikTok. He says the algorithm is so big, and you're gonna blow up, I promise you. So I posted an ice fishing video. This was September 11, 2019. Posted an ice fishing video, and it blew up. And it went viral within a couple hours. Well, then, yeah. And then I started doing like little Johnny jokes. We were driving down to Talladega because my NASCAR driver was racing that race, and he actually won it. And we were driving down, and we had like a 16-hour drive. And so I was telling jokes the whole way down there, and each video was going viral. I was like, holy cow, this is crazy. And I would say within 3 months, I had like 300,000 followers, and it continued to grow. And I was in it for about 6 months, and I'm like, I'm getting bored of this. I'm continuing to grow. I'm continuing to grow. Well, actually, no. September. So it was 4 months into it. I had a lot of my friends, bigger friends, that were their accounts were getting banned for no reason. And so I created a second account where basically I would take my old jokes and I would tell them on my second account. And within 3 days, I grew to 150,000 followers on my backup account, just telling little Johnny jokes.
Yeah.
So that was 4 months into it. Well, then I'm like, I'm getting sick of this. I don't know if I want to continue to do it. And I started to get a lot of emails and direct messages on Instagram where I'm helping people with PTSD and depression. And I had
Nice.
one guy that had said, I was going to watch 5 videos today. And at the 5th video, I was going to end my life. And I watched your video and it made me laugh so hard and it made me realize that life was precious and I couldn't do it. So I'm like, all right, now I have a purpose. It's not just me telling jokes and doing this. I have a purpose to do this.
Make somebody laugh.
And, yeah. And so then I continued. And then last year, March and April, when COVID hit, I had never promoted the business at all, never promoted it. Well, we dropped 80%, like all of our sales dropped 80%. And I didn't know what to do. At that point in time, I had reached 1 million followers on TikTok. And so I went on for the first time, it was April 23rd. And I told them, what happened. And I don't know if any of you like jerky. If you do or you don't, if you know somebody that does, here's my website. Check it out. We're hurting, and we could use any help. Within 4 hours, it was like a freaking slot machine going off on our Shopify. Ding, 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 ding. We had over 2,500 orders in 10 days. And TikTok saved, and we had everybody here at work, all 5 of us, plus the families, like all of our families were coming in helping, just to keep us going. I mean, it was awesome. We all came together, and that's with like everybody here is part of a team. Like we are so close, and them being here allows me to be able to do the TikTok, allows me to be able to do the social media,
Right.
which is now branched out to Instagram, where I've got 170,000 followers there. I've only been on YouTube for 2.5 months, and I've almost got 60,000. I'll hit 60,000 followers on there today. It's continuing to grow, but it's with the help of everyone else that I have here that's allowing me to do everything, and I feel so blessed.
Nice. That is awesome.
Thank you.
So that's kind of your story about your beef jerky as well.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Yeah. Well, that's like the COVID part of it. With the jerky, that's where my dad started in 2001, and then when I came on board in 2010, we added a whole bunch more products, and just grew. I mean, like on an average, about 20% a year in growth. When we had John on, him and I would travel so much and continued to grow and added pickled products and Bloody Mary mix. And then we added Chris on, and so we've been, it's great to see it evolve, because it started with just my dad, and then me and my dad, and then another guy. And now we've got 5 people standing around with the same goal in mind, and it's awesome. And it's kind of like a family business because we know each other so well, and it's really good.
Nice. That's awesome. With regards to what you do, and we talked a little bit about education or life experience, how do you know when you know?
How do you know when you know what?
Just how do you know when you know? Whatever you want to relate that to, how do you know when you know?
Well, to me, that would be, how do you know when you know you've made it? And that's that's what I thought of right away.
Okay.
How do you know when you know you've made it? And I don't think you ever really truly know. My nose itches today. I don't know if it's pollen in the air or what. I don't know if you ever truly really know, but I I knew once we started getting recognized when we weren't just a novelty item, when we weren't just the 2, 3 items on the shelf, when we're bringing in racks of our products, and people are actually calling us to buy our stuff. When people are saying, "Hey, I gotta have that," when it was me going out so. My dad had a 2001 Chevy Silverado that I drove that thing around up until 2013 with 380,000 miles on this thing,
Nice.
driving it everywhere, sleeping in the sometimes in a tent in a camp, just to get out there and get known. And now it's helped us to be in the footprint that we are now. I mean, we're in 22 states, and we now don't have to make those phone calls begging people to try it. And what we've always said is if we could get it in their mouths, we know that they would buy from us. And now that's not the case. I'm getting people calling us. I actually, and I don't even know what the heck this is about. Last was Friday. I got an email from Troy Link, who is CEO of Jack Links, that wants to talk to me. He says, "I just want to introduce myself." He says, "Give me your phone number." So how do you know when you know? I mean, I guess you know when Troy Link, the number one guy in the world, is giving you a call. So,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
He's
But
gonna
that's
offer you $50
but that
billion for your
right.
company, right?
Yeah. But that doesn't the one thing I say is do never let today's success determine tomorrow's thoughts or tomorrow's failure or whatever you're going to do tomorrow. Don't let today's success think that you can do less tomorrow. And
Right. Now I can sit back and watch.
yeah, because you can't do that, especially in this business, because there's always someone a step ahead of you,
Yeah.
and you have to constantly be able to grow. And just I try to tell everyone to stay as authentic as you can, whether it's good or bad stuff coming out of your mouth. Just be real, and people will respect
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. What is your biggest motivator?
you. My biggest motivator is actually my team. Um, Last year when COVID came and we were thinking we might have to lay people off, we don't know. You don't know how quickly it could go away. I'm not a manufacturer. Our products are all manufactured um, to our recipes, and they are co-packed and then shipped here. I'm at the mercy of those manufacturers. They want to raise the price. I gotta deal with it. I am motivated to be able to keep my people, my friends, happy with what they're doing, and I got to keep them employed. Um, if it came down to it, and I would have to let people go, I know that I would still make it, but I don't want to. I wouldn't want to let them down.
Right.
So I want to be able to continue to grow and have us grow together and have us all be happy. You know.
Yeah. Right on. What's your biggest fear?
Um, I guess kind of in the same token, like you think about, Link's calling me, what he could call up one of my like my biggest manufacturer, and say, "Hey, I want to buy you out," and shut him down. Well,
Right. Yeah.
40 of those people that they were making products for are all of a sudden out of business because of, I mean, we would come up with other things, we'd come up with other outlets and stuff, but those are all like real thoughts of you're kind of at the mercy of other people. Now, it helps us by not being a manufacturer because the overhead is so minimal. I mean, we hardly have any overhead. But I just want to, help provide for them as they provide for me. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Right. Exactly. My son started a coffee company up in Grand Prairie, Alberta here. He's a firefighter, and he started his own little coffee company called True Heroes Coffee, and he kind of does the same thing you do. He gets his coffee from a supplier,
Yep.
flavored to his specs, and then delivered to him, and then
Yeah.
he sells it in his town, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
kind of where you started, that's where he was starting.
Yeah. And so basically you are a marketer is
Yeah.
what it is you're marketing your brand. And with our name like Kick-Ass, it's easy to market. We continue to add new products, and yeah, it helps us with the name to be able to market.
Right. If you could do or be anything at all without any possibility of failure, what would it be?
I think I'm doing both of them. Um, I'm I'm not working. I'm owning the business, where I have my friends with me. I can come and go as I please, because I mean, these guys are doing a fantastic job. Plus, I'm doing the social media thing where it has bringing me so many opportunities. Like next month, I'm going down to Arkansas to shoot pigs out of a helicopter. And they're paying me to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like and then next year I'm going to go to a resort in Mexico where people get to come hang out with me for a 3-day weekend, and they're paying me to do that, all inclusive, to stay. And so it's like I'm kind of doing it right now.
Dream job.
Yeah, I would have never ever expected it. And it's especially for like the social media thing, I don't fit the mold. The mold for YouTubers and people like that are like 15 to 25. I'm 42 years old, and I just started this a year ago. So,
Right.
yeah, it's crazy.
I guess I got to get on TikTok, chop up my
There you go.
videos and put them on TikTok and
There
stuff.
you go. Yeah, anybody can do it. Anybody.
Um, what do you do in your spare time to take your mind off things? What's your relaxing thing?
Well, this is recent, very, very recent. 10 years ago, I sprained my ankle, and I went to the doctor, and they, yep, you sprained it. And they gave me medicine and bandaged it up. And I found out I had high blood pressure. And so I just like, all right, I'm going to have to take pills. I'll have to take, when I'm 32 years old, and I'm like, man, I've taken this stuff. And it wasn't until this year, actually 2 months ago, that I realized like I'm getting too overweight. And then people will tell me like in my videos and that I need to change that. So I started going to the gym again, and like going to the gym and lifting and just going on the treadmill doing that. It is the only time during the day where I am completely only focused on myself. The only time, where I am just, my mind is only focused on that, and it's only an hour a day, um, but it's good for me. It's like a meditating type thing, and I'm like losing weight, and I'm hoping to reach different goals and be able to be a healthier me. I also like to hunt and fish and do that as well. But that's also now becoming more of a social media thing where I'm involving other people. And so it's like the more things that I'm doing on social media, the more my life is not becoming a private thing. And I'm having to make sure that I learn to keep some parts of my life still private, because I'm just opening it all lately.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. What one thing in your past do you think has given you your best lesson for life so far?
It was young. When I was young, it's I'm not invisible and I'm not invincible. Um, when I was 21, I thought I could drink and drive and do all kinds of stuff, and I thought I was Superman. And I got caught drinking and driving, and I went to. I didn't hurt anybody or anything, but I ended up going to jail for a little while, and it was a real eye opener. Like you're not, and this is so long. You're not know all, do all, and not have any consequences. And so it was a thing that really woke me up as to who am I and who do I want to be and what do I want to do. And thankfully, I was young enough to be able to kind of turn that around.
Straighten yourself out before it got too late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or nothing bad enough that you were in there for 20 years instead of
Right.
a week
Yeah.
or so, whatever.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. What's the greatest piece of advice anyone has ever given to you, and who gave it to you?
Wow, that's a tough one. Huh. Um, wow, put me on the spot with that one. Uh, I I think it's most of it. Everything has come from my dad, and like him and I are so much alike that we've gotten in this like tussles. I mean, there's been pushing and shoving in times, and it's it still boils down to don't forget where you came and don't forget who you are. Um, Being that we're a self-made company, and my dad had really went from bare bones to where we are now. Um, his advice is you got to work for everything that you have, and there's nothing in life that's free. And there's everyone out there that'll promise you something for free, and you can get this and that, and a rich quick scheme, and there's nothing like that that's out there. So if you work hard for something and you make it yours, you're going to appreciate it more and you're going to take care of whatever that is. And I think that's been my dad's pretty much motto on his life, and has really instilled that in me. And that's where I was saying before, I have to make sure I instill that into my children, because and I go back to like the Cosby Show. I don't know if you watched that, when it was Cliff was talking to Theo, and then Theo was saying how he's rich and how we're rich and we got all this, and he says, "Boy, you don't got nothing. You've got nothing. You are not rich. You have no money. You have nothing. Those clothes are mine." And so I really are working on my kids to just instill in them that they're not privileged. And yeah, it'll be a process.
That's great lessons for them. That's
Yeah.
awesome. What will be meaningful to you in 5 years?
Meaningful. Well, that's pretty far ahead to me. Meaningful will be, again, to see the growth of our business, to see where that's going. We're growing at a very fast rate right now. We want to be adding new employees. I want to see where the social media thing's going to go. There's talks of a reality TV show in
Nice.
the next year. Everything is. I mean, the last 2 years of my life has just been a whirlwind, and it's hard for me to think. If you had asked me this 2 years ago, I would have been. I want to see the business grow. I want to see my kids and what they're going to do, and of them. But now there's so many other things. The social media, we don't know where it's going to take, and I'm just running with it, living one day at a time.
Awesome. That's cool. What's your idea of perfect happiness?
Perfect happiness. It's not having. You want to have enough enough fear to not go crazy on things, but you want to be able to enjoy the people around you, enjoy company of others. People say, when if you got money to do things, but growing up, I remember like going on canoe trips with my family. We'd go down the Wisconsin River and we would all just go camping and hanging out. And so to me, it'd be to be together with people that are like-minded, positive people that you can have a good time with. It's not having all the best things, but you still, again, you don't want to get rid of all of the bad things, because then you won't be able to appreciate it, the good things.
Right.
So yeah, perfect happiness would be just a lot of it with me is family. I grew up with my dad. On my dad's side of the family, there was him and 8 brothers. Well, there was 8 brothers and 1 sister. So I had 7 uncles and 1 aunt. And then on my mom's side, there was 5, and so there was a lot of cousins and like hanging out. And so for me, that's still really important.
Makes for an awesome family reunion.
Yes, yeah,
Right?
always good, always
A
good.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell me 3 words that you think best describe who you are.
Motivated, stubborn, and empathetic. Those are deep.
They are. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, so motivated. I am very when I get my head into something, I am just so there's I have my horse blinders on. I'm looking straight at it and I want it. I want to do it, and I will just go balls to the wall. And that's where I have my team around me, my people, my wife, to keep me grounded, because my ideas are sometimes so off the wall that are just crazy, and sometimes they let me run with them, and we do well. A lot of the times it's like, yeah, we probably should do that. So I'm very motivated. The stubborn thing is, well, when you tell me no and I can't get my self gratification when I want it, I get like stubborn and like hard headed, and I want to um, make sure that it gets done. And if things are not done the way that I think they should be, I'll get stubborn until you can prove me otherwise, that your way is better than mine. Empathetic is probably my biggest positive and my biggest weakness. I will feel for absolutely everyone. I cry over everything. A song, a movie, a card. I'm always feeling for another person. I will get, like, when someone's feeling sick, I'll feel sick with them. It's crazy. I am just so I feel everything. But then people can take advantage of that with me as well, because they know that it can be used against me. But so yeah, that explains those 3. I'm surprised I came up with that.
So you're a big, motivated, stubborn teddy bear is what you are.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yep. I'm like a Saint Bernard.
There you go. Yeah. Because you can hug on those things anytime you want. And they
Yeah,
don't
right.
do nothing. They just sit there and
Yep.
slobber on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Picture yourself in a room and there's a door in front of you. What does your door look like? Describe your door to me.
My door. Well, the door that I'm thinking now is like at my studio. Um, it's a door that's covered in foam, like um, the sound deadening. Um,
Like
and
under your stairs
yeah,
in your
yep,
videos.
that's what I do. Yeah, I'm picturing that door, and the reason why is it's like to keep the sound out, but it's still, there's so much sound coming through, and there's still like the noisiness of the world is still there. And it doesn't matter how hard or what you do to keep the noise out, it's still going to get in, and it's what you do with that to get positive or negative.
Right.
That's my door.
So open up your door and step through it. What's on the other side of your door?
It's going to be my family. Again, my family is so important. And like when we go to Mexico every year, and we usually go for like 3 weeks, and we go to the same resort, and the people that come are the same people that we come and we see every year. I got a lot of people that come from Alberta. So most people from Canada. Yeah. Most people from Canada, Calgary, Wainwright, most people. Yeah. And we see them the same time for those 3 weeks, and it's like family again. I
Nice.
am very, I get attached to people pretty easily, and so for me, it's great to be able to be with people and just hang out. And I just love, I love to listen to people, and I love to people watch, and I love to listen to people's stories, and I don't know, I'm just amazed by it.
Awesome. That's cool. I'm from Alberta. I don't know if I told you that
Well,
the
I
other
heard you
day.
say, yeah, I
Yeah.
heard you say Alberta, yeah.
Yeah. So, um, see, if you could have lunch and a chat with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be? And what would you talk about?
This is probably. Have you ever heard of John Prine?
I've heard of them.
John Prine is a folk singer. He just passed away this last year of COVID, 72 years old, had cancer like 4 or 5 times. And I had never, I went and saw one concert of his 3 years ago. It was in Milwaukee. And this guy, so he would have been 74 when he died. This guy was out on stage, 71 years old, for an hour and a half straight when all of his band members had went and taken breaks and did this and that. This guy just stayed out there and played and played and played. And like he had lost part of his jaw and part of his tongue, and he's still singing and still doing what he loved. And his songs mean a lot to me because when my mom was younger, or when we were younger, my mom would always blast John Prine and clean the house, and so we always heard John Prine throughout my whole life. And I knew the words to all the songs, but I didn't really start listening to them until I got older. And now it's like I would really, and he's not even, I mean, he was never even really super famous or anything, but he'd be a guy that I would love to just sit and talk to.
That's awesome. That is awesome. If you had a magic wand and could do one thing for yourself, what would it be?
I guess it would be to take away to I guess like the overthinking of things. Like I have everything I want. I don't need I don't need any more money. I don't need any more um, time. I have everything. My thought is I'm an overthinker. Like most of the time, like if I'm gonna call up a new distributor and kind of know what I think they're gonna talk about, I will sit there and I will lay out a whole conversation of what I'm gonna say and what they're gonna respond back with. And I will answer and go through the whole scenario 5 or 6 times, and then the conversation isn't anything like what I thought it would be. So I overanalyze and overthink, and I wish I could take that away because I think it's added stress that I don't need. And so I guess that's pretty simple, but it's for me. It's just it would alleviate a lot of stress in my life.
If you could write a letter to your younger self, what age would it be, and what advice would you give yourself?
It would be when I was 18 years old, and I would have said, don't chase that girl to Canada, stay back and buy that house. I dated a foreign exchange girl from Quebec, and I went and visited her in Montreal, and her dad said, well, my daughter was in your country for a year and learned English in your way. I would like you to come here for 6 months and learn our way of life. I had saved up enough money for a down payment on a line contract house. Either that or go chase her in Montreal. Well, chose the girl. And I had a great time. I had a really great time. And I'm still friends with the family still to this day, but it's like, man, I could have had a house at 18.
Right? If you could go back and change anything in your life, what would it be?
I think it would be my parents' dependency on alcohol and drugs. That was pretty hard for us growing up, and it took a big toll on our family life. My parents were divorced when I was 5. My mom passed away in 2006 because of her alcohol and drug use, and so if I could rid them of those diseases, that would be it, 100%.
Nice. Awesome. What's your go-to music? Make yourself happy, make yourself feel good.
That changes. I like all kinds of music. It was funny because growing up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, moving to a very small farm community, I would listen to rap music and country. Those were the two that I grew up listening to. And you think about it, they're the same thing, but they have the same stories. It's a different style of telling it, if you think about it. So I nowadays it's mostly just like what's on the radio, like pop music, what's on the radio. But like going to the gym, I like just like fast paced music that's there. But for like being like every day is mostly 90s country that I'm listening to. It's kind of stuff that I know, stuff that when I was listening to music a lot, that's what it really was. When I was working at the bakery, that's all we had on, and so
Yeah.
I learned that. But again, I'll listen to oldies. I'll listen to country. The only thing I don't listen to would be like opera and jazz. Even some jazz, but classical.
It's not something you'd rush out and put on.
No. But I can appreciate most music.
Nice.
And it depends on who I'm with and what you're doing too.
Right.
If you're out sitting by a fire, you can listen to some Cajun music. I don't know. All kinds of stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
So picture yourself stranded on a desert island. The device you had plays forever, but could only play one song over and over. What song would it be?
That's hard. I think you wouldn't want it to be too slow, but you wouldn't want it to be you'd want it to be like, so it'd probably be something with like Jack Johnson. I don't know, Bubble Toes by Jack Johnson.
Awesome. Jack Johnson is one of my son's favorite.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know, because you'd want it to be mellow. You wouldn't want it to be sad. You wouldn't want it to be too fast. You want it to be something you could listen to like all different times. Yeah.
Right. Over and over forever.
Yeah. Right.
So, final question. Jeremy Littel has lived his entire life accomplished everything he's ever wanted to, done amazing with everything he's ever attempted, has all the experience and learned everything. But when he moves on from this world, he has to take everything with him. No one knows who Jeremy Littel is. But you can leave behind 3 lessons for life. What would they be?
Stay authentic. Stay true to who you are. Always stay humble, because no matter how big you get, stay humble, because there's always someone that's bigger and better than you are. And try your best to surround yourself with positive people that will help you grow. Because you hanging out with negative people will just bring you down and not help you move forward to where you need to be.
Nice. Awesome. That's
Thanks.
great. I do have one more question.
Okay.
I see you have some ink. So
Yes.
tell me about your ink.
Well, when I turned 18, I actually came on a vacation to Winona, Minnesota, where I live right now. And I was living near Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which is 3.5 hours away from here. And we had come here, and me and 2 of my buddies went into town because we went into a tattoo shop, and I said, I need something quick, the cheapest and the quickest thing you can get me. Well, I got Charlie Brown, like right here. It was $45. And so last year I was like, I was ready to get rid of Charlie Brown. So I am 3/4 Irish. And so I got, you can see, I got like a Celtic cross right in here.
Okay, yep. I can see.
And then there's like, it's like cut in, it's like armor that's kind of cut into the skin.
Okay,
and then
yeah.
Right here is a feather that's split open, which means you've been wounded a lot. I'm a 1/4 Cherokee, and my mom was half Cherokee, and she lived a hard life, so she was wounded a lot. So I did that in remembrance of her. And then on the inside, I love Mexico. So Mexico is our favorite place to go. So I have Aztec warrior, and then I've got the double-headed serpent. So the serpent head here, and then I don't know if you can. There's a serpent head here.
Yeah.
So that kind of wraps all the way around. So I had that done. Started in October and ended in December, and now starting in September, I'm getting this whole arm done. It's going to be same type of stuff, but not the same idea, but not the same. It'll be a different type. So,
right.
I don't know. Once I got this one, it was like, oh man, it's like an outlet. The pain feels good, and it doesn't, and it's just weird. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I got one when I was, 20, and then I got another one probably 7-8 years ago, and then I got all these ones.
Yeah. Right.
About 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I keep telling my wife I want to get another one, so that's in discussion.
Yeah, you got that. Yes. My wife didn't. She's like, "You're gonna do your whole arm?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." She said, "Well, you're good. You've already got your mind made up." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, pretty good."
Yeah. Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
There you go. Yep, exactly.
Right on. Jeremy, I appreciate your time, taking time out of your day. Anybody that wants to purchase kick-ass beef jerky, get on the website and look them up and check out their product.
Yeah, thank you.
And again, appreciate your time. Hopefully people watching get some insight into your life and some experiences that they might relate to or something like that. So anyways, thanks again. Maybe we can do it another time. And Thanks for watching. This has been Lessons for Life podcast. I'm Troy Hudkins and my guest, Jeremy Littel. Thank you. Goodbye.